find a good spot. There we go. Something behind it. What's up behind it? Morning, McGee. How's it going? Keith James, Pigtail, Ryan Smithberg, good morning. What? Pale Rider TV. Pale Rider TV had a very interesting video this morning. If you haven't subscribed to them, check it out. I'm Small Fry. I'll see you in a minute. What's up, Light Bright? James Neal, Daniel Lane, Rebel Trucker. Kaislin, what's up? Kaislin, was I not right about that Facebook post there, sir? Yeah, I'm tooting my own horn. Hey, Scott, what's up? It was good talking to you the other day. So, we got our coffee this morning. Got Glare on the phone there. Let's see, who else? Who else is there? Jonathan Wheeler. Sorry, I missed you there. Brian Smithberg, heading to Springfield, Missouri, then Branson tomorrow in your neck of the woods. Cool, Brian. Where are you delivering at in Springfield? Snow Rider bandana. How's it going, Doug Smith? Man, these things are not feeding automatically. That's annoying. Red Pepper, long time no see. Nittany Lion, vacation. How long are you going to be up there? Tell you what, Brian, don't go ride the ducks. That's for sure. I think that accident they had is going to shut them down permanently. Especially when the owner said that the driver shouldn't have been out there. So, where am I? I'm in the St. Louis metro area. So, yeah, it was sad. There's one gal that lost her entire family, her husband, to everybody, and she survived. I don't know how somebody gets back from that. I really don't. Be down there 7 days. Hey, Battleborn, what's up? Well, if you're going to Silver Dollar City, you better have a fat wallet. And you better like waiting in lines if you're going to go do the rides. If you like the crafty hillbilly stuff, they got a lot of cool stuff. Sky is blue. What are you talking about, CPAP? Stu Manchu, what's up? Pilgrim on the move, listening to this on my that's right, new headset. Man, okay, let's talk about that for a minute. So Pale Rider bought a new headset yesterday. And I think it was my phone call that triggered it, because, you know, last couple of weeks, you know, I call him and he's got the one that's related to a cat. An unnatural colored cat. And, you know, he would, remember our parody that I did with Pale Rider where he made it sound like it was all staticky and everything? It sounded like that. I said, Pale Rider, you've turned into our parody. And, you know, but he'd adjust it and it'd fix itself, you know, but every now and then it'd pop out, you know, so I go from, you know, we'd be talking and then go from, like, he would be, all of a sudden he'd be distant, or you couldn't hear him, or it'd be all crackly, you know. So yesterday morning I call him up, and it sounded like he was like a million miles away. Like if someone was in your trailer yelling, but yet you're in the truck here. So, so I was like, Keith, I can't hear you. So he bought a new headset. Now, when he called me back with that new headset, man, the clarity, I thought he was sitting there like this. Sitting still, not driving. That's how clear it was. Anyway, it was just And I'm like, man, I need one of those. So I'll let Pale Rider reveal what he got and all that stuff. Actually, we talked about him in his last video. Just came from the trucker sauna. It's pretty much most of the country right now. It's a beautiful day here in Arkansas. Where are you at, CPAP? Road Racer, what's up? Where are you at in Arkansas? You might pass by the mysterious Pale Rider TV there. Now, I got coffee, and they have in the beans and do the pour through right then and there. Those new machines. That's some good coffee. That's the best thing Pilot's done so far as their coffee goes. Jonesboro. Raining here in the northeast PA. Yeah, it's looking a little cloudy here too. Let's see what the radar is doing. Calling for rain in New York. It says red pepper. Let's look at the radar. Where are you at? If you don't have a really good radar app on your phone, I suggest getting one, especially in the snow, because you might come up on a snow band that might make the road treacherous for about 10 minutes, and then you'll drive through it. And if you don't have a radar, you can't figure that out. It's hard to judge, especially if you don't use the CB and just ask the other drivers, because if you ask the opposite direction drivers, say, hey, how far are we into the snow, then they'll tell you. I don't know, it's not showing anything on the radar towards me. Let's see what Pennsylvania looks like. Nah, I don't think you'll get much rain right now. There, McKee. Bunch of popcorn storms, That's what took that Branson boat down. The storm popped up at the last minute. Now Virginia and North Carolina is getting hammered with some thunderstorms. And then Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, you're getting it. Maine's probably going to be hammered later today. I haven't been to Maine in like years. Nice and pretty up there. Let's see. That's it. There's no rain in Arizona. So. Oh, where are we at comment-wise here? 55 to 40 west. Sunny and hot Mississippi, as always. Going through St. Louis now. Well, Sean, you in a hurry? If not, I'm at the Pontoon Beach Pilot, or Flying J there at 270. Mr. Berger, how's it going? Yep, my radar is bomb. Yeah, I've been known to have two radar. Now, I used to use this app called My Radar, and I guess they went out of business or something because they stopped supporting the app and it had its flaws. So I think the one I got now is called Weather Radar Widget. Say that 5 times fast. And it's really good. And then the local news station has a radar, or not radar, well, it has radar, but if there's a severe thunderstorm warning where I'm at, it'll tell me. I've got the weather radio on my CB, and of course, I got on my regular radio too, my stereo. And the only problem is you got to figure out what county you're in when they list the counties. So unless you have a county map, or you have to ask Google, okay Google, what county am I in, and it'll tell you. So Pontoon Beach, not far from me. Top of the morning, Captain Jack, what's up? Keep getting intermittent circle of death. Well, Burger, look up the. It's like the Weather Channel, but funny. I'll check that out, Rebel Trucker. Let's see. Baldwin, Florida. Who said that? Cloudy and hot in Baldwin, Florida. Florida's a weird end when it comes to weather because, you know, most storms go from west to east, right? So when you're going south or north in Florida, you'll go through these like rain bands. Like it'll be sunny, and then for about 10 minutes, a torrential downpour, and then it'll be sunny, and then torrential downpour. It's kind of crazy. John Capone with 30-minute unload. Yeah, man, those Snyder, if you guys don't know, Snyder has these estimated load and unload times. And they aren't really that accurate because like if it's a shipper or receiver that lets you spend the night there, then what happens is guys spend the night, they show arrival, and then they show the part like 8 hours later. So it looks like it took them 8 hours to unload, or 10 hours. So that throws those numbers off. And then so you can't really go by that. And then sometimes you're in and out of there in like 15-20 minutes if you're dropping and hooking, but it's weird. I do like the Schneider rate the customer app, and whether it benefits the driver or not, I don't know, but here's what happens. So if there's a particular Schneider customer that has a bunch of 1-star ratings, what that does is that gives Schneider the leverage to get more money out of that customer. They're not going to like stop using that customer. They're not going to like stop sending drivers in that customer. But when something is a pain in the butt, you can ask for more money. That's how business runs. If something's really hard to make or something's really hard to build, guess what? It's open season. They can charge whatever they want. So if there's a particular customer that's very difficult to deal with and they know it and they can't do anything about it because of management or because of their product or because of where they're at, location, then what that does is that makes Schneider go in there and say, hey, we'll still service you, but we need this much per mile now or this much per volume per month. And so when another company comes in like Swift or Werner or somebody like that comes in and underbid Schneider, then they got to deal with the BS for less money. And then eventually the other carrier goes, man, this wasn't worth it. We got drivers hitting things, or we got drivers that refuse to go in there. We got drivers getting kicked out of there. We got drivers losing loads because they're sitting too long there. So eventually, if the customer's that horrible, then they got to change their ways or they're going to pay out the yin-yang. So I've seen it where there was a customer nearby where I live that Swift had the contract, and then Schneider got it because Swift, and then eventually Schneider lost it again and Swift got it, and then the last time I passed by there, I think Schneider got it back. So there's always a constant tug of war between all the bank of carriers on some of these accounts. That's what the customer told you? Yeah. Are you back with Schneider or with Jeffrey? I'm still with Jeffrey. Where'd that rumor come from? Pale Rider TV just did a thing on my trailer yesterday. Schneider was a good stepping stone for me, and it allowed me to get some money built up so I get my trailer, my plate, and all that stuff. So, and a major repair on top of that. But now I'm at the next level. So there's nothing wrong with being a Schneider owner operator. Pale Rider. Going to Mercer. You doing dry man or flatbed over there, John? Just curious. Van. Yeah, there's plenty of spots over here, Sean. Man, that's some strong coffee. Less deadhead with the van. I don't know, John, the way I look at deadhead is if you're getting the rate that you want, you know, deadhead doesn't really matter a whole lot. It does and it doesn't. That's kind of a dumb statement. I'm sorry. It here's where deadhead can be an issue. If the load's not paying enough, or the time schedule isn't allowing you. Like, for example, if you book a load that's 550 miles loaded, and it has to be picked up at, say, 9 a.m. and delivered at 6 a.m. the next morning, well, you can't deadhead 100 miles to get that load because, you know, unless you started your clock early, because you don't have, you know, or you might have, you know, 150 mile deadhead. Well, now you're pushing your 11-hour clock, so that could be a hindrance. So if it's not first come first serve on both ends or on one of the ends, you know, it makes that more difficult when self-dispatch. There are loads that I've deadheaded 200 miles for, all miles. I mean, that's happened. So, or you book something that's like 350 a mile for 300 miles, but you deadhead 200, now it's 500 miles. And after, if you do the math after the deadhead, it still comes out to 250 a mile. Well, then you're still good. Then you're getting that daily rate. So that's kind of how I look at deadhead. Landstar had the deadhead quite a bit. Even the corporate guy at Landstar said that Schneider had better freight in my area. Here lately, though, I've been seeing a lot of Landstar stuff on the load boards for my area, which I was like, where were you guys when I was at Landstar? But I came out of Michigan. That would have been a 200 mile deadhead on the load that I picked up on Saturday. And it would have paid enough for all miles. It would have been worth it. However, it was already gone. So, you want your own dry van trailer? Well, that's a good step. When I get my rate, it includes my deadhead, right, McGee? Yeah, you can't just like, you know, quote them 250 a mile loaded miles. You know, you kind of want an idea. You know, like for example, when I look at a load, let's say the load says it's 500 miles, and I'm 50 miles away. Then I do the loaded rate based off the 15-day average. I look at that. I look at what I want out of it, which is usually 20% above the 15-day, and then I'll do all the calculations on all miles. Like, okay, you know, because you don't want to do a 700 mile run at $2 a mile and then deadhead 200 miles to get it, because then now you're looking at $30, 40, something like that. I'm not a mathematician. I don't have a calculator in front of me. I base everything, all my notes, everything off of all miles. Every mile that the truck moves. There's no, if I'm using Trucking Pro, I don't use, personal miles at all. Even if like I go home and I have to bobtail 3 times back and forth to a shop or to get something, and then I come home and then I go get my load, it's the same rate. Is actually different per mile because my deadhead miles were greater because I bounced around town more, or I had to go out a route to go somewhere, that kind of thing. November 6th, 2017 was my last day driving. Says Red Pepper. I always thought Landstar used Trucker's Edge. I'm not even sure what Trucker's Edge is. How do I sign up for that rate, says Jeff. Pull triaxle reefer. You're welcome, Pale Rider. Is that the awesome can of coffee falling out of your cabinet behind you? No. It's up there, but it's not falling. You want me to bring you a can of that coffee to Dallas there, Jeff? Because you'll be flying, so I don't want to... I'm just going to mail you one. Be better. Just get it on Amazon and made you look. Jeff's got jokes this morning. Oh, crap. I got a hole in my cup. Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow, check it out, guys. So, I don't know if I want to drink that coffee now. Holy crap. Okay, so check it out. So I've been trying that bulletproof coffee thing based off of Next Gen's recommendation. And he put this coconut oil stuff in it, and it's disintegrated the cup. Look at that. That's weird, man. I don't know if I want to drink that coffee now. It's got... Yeah, shoot. I just ruined my cup of coffee. Dang! That's weird. God. Well, that pisses me off. It was my free one, though, so I guess no money lost there. Well, that's disappointing. Oh, well. Sorry about that, guys. That was strange. Let's see. Rachel says, made you look, now you're in the baby book. That's funny, Jeff. Just made my second pot of coffee, red pepper. I need to make some coffee. I should just make some instead of... Coconut oil does do strange things. Right. It's kind of weird, man. I dumped it out because I didn't know if that styrofoam was in the coffee now or what. That's crazy. Should just use this cup. Stuff's oily, man. Tell you what, though, Next Gen was the one that gave me the tip on that, and it does kind of keep you... Like, it keeps cravings at bay, like actual hunger, pain, and cravings away. So, that's pretty cool. Let's rinse this off here. Always have a jug of water on hand to rinse things out. I know you guys are like, why are we watching Steve do stupid stuff with the coffee cup? Alright, we're good now. Coffee wasn't that great anyways. No big loss. No big loss. Big Rich, what's up? Thomas Wilson says, I've got you on my big TV by the pool. My daughter just showed me how to do it. Sweet. Don't let that TV fall in the pool, though. Look, there's a bird behind you. You know what's funny? Here's what you do, right? If you're outside with a bunch of your buddies, go, look, a dead bird, and see how many people look up. I did that indoors one time, and this blonde gal, she just like, huh? You gotta be careful. What was it you keep cutting in and out in the coffee? I don't know, man. I had that MCT oil, coconut oil, and I put it in this cup, and it disintegrated. Look at that. It disintegrated it. So if it broke down the styrofoam, well, I didn't want to be drinking that styrofoam, so I dumped it out, because it's like really paper thin. This cup is a combination of styrofoam and paper. So what probably happened is oil eats up. Had a really good talk the other day with Jason and how he can improve it since he's not happy. And if there's something you guys don't like, man, make the changes, make it happen. If you don't know how to make it happen, ask the people on how to make it happen. I don't have all the answers, but I can at least, sit there and say, maybe you ought to look at this, you ought to look at that, or you ought to do this, you ought to do that. Have been known to be wrong in the past. So in the end, it's important to do what you want to do. It's important to do what's important. Wow, that was dumb. It's important for you to do what's right for you. There we go. That's better. And you got to make the changes. If getting a truck is your first priority, you got to figure out how to make that happen. If working for a percentage company is a priority, then you have to make the moves to make that happen. It might take a year, it might take 2 years. If you put in an application somewhere, if someone puts an application somewhere and they get turned down, find out from that company why they turned you down, so you're not left in the dark and you're not wasting your time with other companies because there might be something on your DAC or something like that. You gotta make the steps. You can't just, I talk to a lot of people that just want things to happen to them, like they want to stumble into it. And I'm not saying Kaislin was that way. Kaislin's definitely made some moves to get to where he wants to go. But there are other people I've talked to that just want things to happen. And you got to have a certain amount of patience. You got to have a certain amount of perseverance. You got to have a certain amount of passion. If you hate trucking, then maybe being an owner-operator is not the best route for you, because there's a lot there. I'm not going to say there's more headaches, but there's different kinds of headaches. The stress that I had as a company driver was great in some areas, but less than others than it compared to being an owner operator. So if you're a owner operator, you're running a business, you're worried about numbers and keeping things afloat, making payments. And if you're doing a self-dispatch system, then you're not really stressed about where you're going. However, company driver, you may not be stressed about payments and numbers, but your company might be making you do 680 miles with the 6 a.m. delivery in Newark, New Jersey. That would be a stressful situation, because you don't know where you can park, you don't know what traffic's going to be, and if you're late, the company's going to get mad. You might sit, for 2 days because you didn't have the right delivery number, that kind of thing. I was at a travel plaza a while back, and there was actually a bird inside, but it was alive and flying around. I'm sorry to hear that, Red Pepper. By your legs. But you're gonna find people. You're gonna find that the only thing really holding you back is yourself. That's all I could say. If you're a driver that has a negative attitude towards a lot of things, guess what? You're going to struggle a little bit. You're going to struggle with the job as a company driver. You're going to struggle with being an owner operator, because now you're making payments. You're making truck payments and insurance payments and that kind of thing. And so therefore, if you have a really bad attitude about a lot of things, that stuff's just a lot harder. Kind of like that dude I talked about a couple of weeks ago that hated everything, and hated everybody, and hated truck drivers, hated his company, hated his truck. And you know, and the company does not owe you anything. There's a lot of entitlement, you know, attitudes out here. Like the company owes you this, company owes you that. If the company promises you good equipment and they give you a crappy truck, yeah, that's on them. However, if the company keeps mistreating you, then you have to move on. You have to leave. Because it's not going to get any better. You know, it's not like you're going to come in and change how this company's been doing business for 15 years because you're not happy. You know, there are valuable drivers out there, but there's drivers not that, you know, not that valuable. So if you find yourself struggling as a business person, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, a lot of people get mad at me when I talk about this. Look at yourself. You need to have the ability to look at your own faults and go, you know what? They're right. I need to change this, or I need to be better about this. And I wholeheartedly believe that the worse your attitude, the harder this job is across the board. And then you make it harder on everybody else. You know, if you're one of these drivers like the dude I talked to a couple weeks ago at the shipper that just hates everything, those are the kind of guys that brag about pulling pins. So those are the kind of guys that brag about, you know, going out of their way to make drivers upset because their lives are miserable. And then they sit there and wonder why the company doesn't like them, why their dispatcher doesn't like them, why, you know, no matter where they go, they can't just seem to get it right. You know, maybe trucking isn't for you, you know, that kind of thing. I was kind of born into this industry a little bit. I tried to avoid getting in it, but got in it anyways, and then I embraced it. You got to embrace this. You got to embrace, it's a lifestyle. You got to embrace it. If you can't embrace it, but you're still a good driver, then you figure out the ways that your skills could work for you to where maybe the job isn't as hard. Like, for example, if you hate being dispatched, well, then maybe your goal is to work for a company where you can do self-dispatch, that kind of thing. And then maybe that'll solve the problems. But 9 times out of 10, again, I'm not talking about any particular person, I'm just talking in general here. Attitude is you are your own worst enemy. I've said that before. Drivers can be their own worst enemy. We're our own worst enemy when it comes to industry standards. We're our own worst enemy when it comes to dealing with a lot of the customers, and the trucking companies, and the load planners, and the dispatchers, and the corporate people. And you could have somebody working for the crappiest company with a good attitude that will do better than the others. Some people say on Thursday they want this, then next Wednesday it's supposed to be done. It takes months to years to hit your goal. Then the goal can change on your quest. Yeah, you make your own hurdles, Benjamin Duke says. Red Pepper says your health will hold you back too. Right. That's now that I'm kind of smoothing a bunch of things out, you know, I'm definitely working on the health. And I'm not losing weight as fast as like CPAP or Next Gen, but I'm still losing. Although I couldn't quite tell that much on Pale Rider's video. But that's a different story. You know, when I was at this company here, they treated me good. Some companies have the habit of making you think you're important when you're not. In other words, they'll dangle a carrot like, oh, we'll make this change for you. and then things go back the way they were a month later. A lot of companies are infamous for that. And here's the struggle from a trucking company perspective. If you have a driver that thinks that they have power, guess what? Work's not going to get done. Hey, we need you to go to Newark, New Jersey. I'm not doing that. You treat me like I'm your most valuable driver. I'm not doing that. So I refuse to do that. Now that load can't be covered. Now you're hurting the company. Now you're hurting yourself. So now the dispatcher, you are low on his list. Do you think he's going to look for a load for you? No. So that's where a lot of companies want to make you feel like they like you, but you're not the most important thing, for that to avoid that complex that drivers can get. I've been there. I've done it. And then what happens is that driver didn't want to go to Newark. Now the company feels like they've been burned. They treat him like crap again. And next thing you know, he's quitting and he's going to another company. And then the same cycle happens. Next thing you know, this guy's worked for 5 people in 5 years. And now that looks bad on your record, and it gets harder and harder to find better driving jobs. So that's where attitude comes in. Know your place. If you know, don't think that you're the most important person in one company. Especially mega carriers. You might be the most important person to a load planner or to a dispatcher, or a BOA, or a BCO advisor, but in reality, in the grand scheme of things, you're just a number, and the company can live with you or live without you. Let's see who this is. No. What you do? Give up, Kaislyn? I think Kaislyn's here. I see you, Kaisley. You know, it's funny, last night I was waiting for someone to park over here to this side of me. Man, this new phone is like, everything's so close. I'm here, says Big Eddie. Big Eddie, are you here at the Flying J2 like Kaislyn is? I waited until 10 o'clock for someone to park over here, and no one ever did. Because I didn't want to go to bed and wake up to someone smashing my mirror. Because this, you know, the older Flying J's and pilots, what do? They don't give you that extra 10 feet you need to kind of swing into places. So if you got a not so skilled backing person, you know, that's where tail swings, takeouters, and all that kind of stuff. Kaislyn's playing Ring Around the Parking Lot. You make all the mistakes you want if you want. He's probably like flipping me out. You can do it. So Kaislyn's got one of them spare tire racks on the back of the cab. I thought about getting one of those, but my APU I think would be in the way. So I think I'm just going to put the spare tire rack on the trailer. I'm getting a spare tire rack regardless, because I replaced my steers and one was still good. And you know, I don't want to waste it. Big Eddie, what you doing? What you doing, Big Eddie? You're watching me. Are you working? Are you home? Are you at home working? Are you getting your new driver lined out with loads? Asian Mind Show, what's up? Hi everyone, be safe trucking today. If anyone is stopping at Petro in Waterloo, New York, let me know. I'll buy the coffee. Well, that's cool, Red Pepper. You're at home working. Oh, good deal, good deal. I think Jeff's at home working too. When he's not trying to make me look around and stuff. So. Hazel's got one of them annoying beepers when you back up. You can unplug that, you know that? You know that, Hazel? You can unplug that. That'd be funny if that's not actually Hazel. Alright guys, we're gonna cut this short. Under an hour. No way, Steve. I can't believe you would do that. Liz Kaislin wants... Hey, Kaislin, you want to be in my live feed? No? Yes? Flip me off if you don't want to. If he's even... He may not even be listening. Alright, well, guys, we're going to end this live feed anyways. Thanks for watching. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't really know that much. But I do know that attitude can be everything. You know, the numbers and the companies and where you work and how you work and everything. It doesn't matter if you don't have the right attitude. That's kind of where I push it. Do I get frustrated? Yeah, I'm not zen about everything. I'm just, you know, but the longer you're out here, see, you guys that have only been out here less than 5 years, you're still learning this job. You know, I feel like I'm still learning this job. There's a lot of places I can't back into. There's a lot of places that I haven't gone yet. And I've been to like 47 of the 48 states. Some I like, some I don't like. You know, we joke about Pennsylvania, but it's actually not that bad. Attitude is everything. That's all I could say. And there's so much negativity that's magnified now because of internet and YouTube, and you know, you got all these YouTube channels that are dedicated to people hating other people. That boggles my mind. Like, there's one particular YouTuber that has like 4 channels that are all about hating this guy. I'm just like, wow. Oh man, it's crazy, but that's the world we live in. So it's hard to keep a good attitude when you see stuff like that. It's hard to keep a good attitude when you see all the negative crap on Facebook and social media. It's hard to keep a good attitude when you go to your company's terminal and everybody's MFing the company. You know, I dealt with that when I was a company driver. I'd come in and people were like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," you know, and then I would tell them I'm doing okay, and then they get mad at me because I actually got along with my dispatcher. I actually got the good loads. I actually, you know, got the miles in when I needed them. You know, I got my home time when I needed it, and they would be mad at me because they weren't getting the same treatment, yet they're at the company like bashing it. You know, so, and you'll find that at Schneider. You know, you'll find that like the people that have the worst attitude about Schneider, they're the ones that struggle over there. And you know, you got to try to make things work where you're at, and if they're not working for you, you need to move on. You know, I know guys that have been with the same company for 5 years, and they don't have a kind word to say about that company. It's like, well, why don't you leave? And they're like, well, then they come up with all the excuses, and you're like, well, sorry, I can't help you then. You know. Oh, thank you, Captain Jack. Kevin Hessian, what's up? Big Eddie says, everybody stay safe. Shallow people promote positive mindset. There you go, Benjamin. With that being said, guys, take it easy. Thanks for watching. Check out Pale Rider TV's newest, latest of us. So, and if you don't know what happened, we also did a live feed yesterday from the truck stop. So, right, there you go. There are some people that want to be out here. There are some people that want to be out here and can't be out here. So what can you do? All right, guys, I'm gonna go hang out with Sean here for a minute. And thanks for watching, and talk to you later. How do I end this? Wink.